Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It is Monday, so we're doing a Monday moment, and today's Monday moment is celebrating two former Raptors yesterday beating the Philadelphia 76ers on their home court in Philadelphia Wells Fargo Arena. The Knicks taking a commanding 3-1 lead over the Sixers yesterday in a scrappy game, a game where the Sixers were winning for a good part of the first half of the game, and the Knicks overcame them by the end of the game. Fantastic stuff. I was really impressed with the defensive work of OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa. They both did amazing stuff with blocks, and specifically OG at the start of the game was blocking people right away, guarding Embiid, doing a lot of great stuff, getting a double-double in points and rebounds, and also getting like a bunch of blocks. And then Precious had a very important block at the end of the game to help seal the victory for the Knicks on the Philadelphia home court. Of course, a lot of Knicks fans traveled to Philadelphia for the game yesterday and overtook their building. Joel Embiid very upset about that after the game, calling out the fans for not buying all the tickets before the Knicks fans can buy them and come into the arena and take over. There really was a very mixed crowd between both fan nations. And yeah, the Knicks Nation came in and took over Wells Fargo yesterday. And yeah, that was funny. Good stuff. Very, very good stuff. I saw highlights of Nick Nurse complaining to the refs in all kinds of ways. So very, very fun stuff. Of course, Siakam victorious yesterday also with Indiana beating the Milwaukee Bucks. They're on the ropes also, 3-1 series lead over them. The first team eliminated last night, the Phoenix Suns, with their $150 million three players that are over the cap just by themselves. Yeah, what did you build there, Matasheba? That Bradley Beal deal was so dumb. So dumb. And yeah, he's an idiot. He's a loser. And you saw how he treated Frank Vogel on the way out with the high five. Yeah, Bradley, you got swept. You are a loser. You suck. And in some ways, it's, you know what? You don't want to get in your head, but in some ways it is you, bro. It is you. Look at you showing up and only getting 6 points for them. And how much money you stealing from the Phoenix Suns and Matasheba? Yeah, it wasn't just Washington, bro. Yeah, but who would have thought that the first team to finish up their first round matchup would be the Minnesota Timberwolves? I don't think a lot of people would have predicted that. I think a lot of people would have said Boston. I think a lot of people would have said Denver. But yeah, the first team to get their team eliminated in the first round is the Minnesota Timberwolves, sweeping Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and the Phoenix Suns. Wow. It's funny because Shakina Young, Thad Young's wife, is posted the Hoomer going into the bush after the game saying that was embarrassing. Yeah, their team getting swept in the first round by a team that has not won a playoff game since their star was 2 years old. Anthony Edwards. That's right. Anthony Edwards was 2 years old the last time Minnesota won a game in the playoffs, let alone they've never swept anybody in the playoffs before, I believe. So this is huge for the Timberwolves franchise. And their coach had an injury in the game. It's crazy. Mike Conley going out of bounds on a hard foul by Devin Booker into his coach Chris Finch, former assistant coach for the Raptors, and he ruptured his patella tendon. So he literally messed him up and put him on the DL in the game. Yeah, this game is hard knocks. Even the head coaches are going on the DL. And assistant coach Micah Nori, former Raptors assistant coach, stepped into the spot and coached the rest of the game in the place of Chris Finch. And he said, just like with the players, next man up, we got next man up with the coaches. Crazy action in the playoffs yesterday. We're reacting to that. We got the Cosmic Card of the Day. And we got just, this isn't going to be a long stream. There's not a whole lot to talk about. I've got the Instagram stories, and I'll do a little bit of the ref report for the games today. But yeah, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Let's go. All right, Trevor J's first in. Good morning, Raptors family. Happy Monday. Lots of good things to look forward to. Changing of the guard. NBA young guys taking over. Yeah, I don't know if it's really like that. Sure, that's always going to be happening in a trend in any sports league, that younger generation is going to come up and be getting better and better. And, older people are going to go away. But, in some ways, that's still not totally the case in the league. There is some really interesting stuff with some young players doing good stuff. But you got to remember, once again, Anthony Edwards is the face of that franchise. But there are older players on that team that are helping to guide him, much like Vince Carter was helped guided by Charles Oakley, Antonio Davis, Del Curry, and Muggsy Bogues, and Alvin Williams. Well, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, and a couple of the other guys that are vets on that team helped guide Anthony Edwards also. So in some ways, it's a different mix than the Thunder. Thunder don't really have a lot of veteran players, so they are more like that youth movement you're talking about, the Thunder for sure. So we're going to see how well they do. Yeah. Trevor's saying Minnesota sweeps the Suns. The last time the Suns got swept was 1989. Wow. Wow. That's a long time ago. That's the Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley Suns, that team right there. Tom Chambers on that team also. Before Barkley was still in Philadelphia. Yeah, that's a long time ago, Trevor J. And speaking of long time ago, let's do the cosmic card of the day. Oh, Commissioner J, Trevor J, is the commissioner of fun on this channel. He's commissioned me to have a classic card of the day every day so that we can have more fun on this channel. And I will pick a card out of here at random, and I will show it to you guys, and you will have to choose. You will have to tell me who it is on the card. Now, I don't want to do that one. In some ways, I've noticed there's duplicates in here. There are some cards that have the same person on it from before. Oh, this is a good one. We'll see if you guys get this one. And this is funny, too, because it's a different look for this player than I'm used to. All right, here we go. Coming up from the bottom, the first person that will write the full name. Please don't just give me the first name or the last name. I want the full name because there are people that have the same last names and the same first names, and we don't want to be ambiguous. We want to answer it right. So here we go. Coming up from the bottom. Here we go. Let's see if you guys can get this one. I hope you can see it with the glare. All right. Who is that, guys? We can actually see their number and their jersey and a pretty boss mustache on there, too. Who do you think that is, guys? In fact, I'll tell you, this guy's important right now in the playoffs. I'm going to say that. He actually has a role in the playoffs right now, even though he's an older player. So I'll tell you who this is once you figure it out. Look at that number. Is our friend Smooth Brown Man here today? He usually knows who these people are. The old school. Take a stab at it if you're not sure. If you're not sure, just put somebody's name in there. Let's see. Willie Green? No, this guy's bigger than Willie Green, the coach of the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, he's a guard, Willie Green. This guy is a forward center. That is not Benoit Benjamin. That's a better guess. Benoit Benjamin didn't have as much hair. Let's just put it that way. And also, Benoit wasn't as muscular. He's more rotund than this guy. This guy is more muscular. But Benoit Benjamin had a waistline. Olden Polynice. That's another great guess because this guy did play with Olden, but he is not Olden Polynice. Olden Polynice was the classic card. In the last 10 days or so, we've had a card of him. That is not him. Greg Foster. Greg Foster was a Caucasian man, just so you know. Let's see who else is on the list. I see you're just naming Seattle Sonics centers. So that'll get you there at some point. Andre Brown's not right. Come on, y'all. Who was 44 for the Sonics? And who is that guy? In some ways, the hairstyle is probably throwing you guys off. His classic hairstyle was not that hairstyle. I'm going to tell you that. Andre Brown, I'm not even sure who he is. I don't remember Andre Brown. Let's see. Michael. All right. That's not right, Smooth. You better write it right. That's not right. You better write the name correctly because that's mostly right. You're one letter off. You can't spell it wrong, and I'll give it to you. That's not right, but it's close. You got the right person. You got the right name. You just haven't written their name in right. You got it. It's the last name that's not right. Yes, Michael Cage. He put Gage in first, but it's Michael Cage. And Michael Cage is currently the color commentator for the Thunder. So if you're watching the Thunder games locally in the playoffs, Michael Cage is calling the game for the Thunder on the color. So he's the Jack Armstrong for the Thunder franchise. Yeah, in the back in the day, Michael Cage had a Jerry curl, and that was his 80s hairstyle. Here he has a flat top. So this was after his Jerry curl 80s. So in the 80s, he had a Jerry curl. He had the real one, like with the curls and really greasy. And then this is him with just a flat top. I guess this is 90s Michael Cage. But yeah, Michael Cage was a solid power forward center. He was a big guy. He was like Oakley. He could put somebody on the ground. Let's just put it that way. And he was one of those enforcer types for the Sonics franchise. And it's interesting that he continues to work for that franchise, even though it's the Thunder, because they moved from Seattle to Oklahoma City. He never played in Oklahoma City, but he is still their color guy in Oklahoma City, even though he played for the Sonics. So yeah, Michael Cage, voice of the Thunder. Voice of the Thunder. There you go. Yeah, Smooth finally spelled it right, and you guys got it. Yeah, good job, Smooth Brown Man, getting another 100 points to your Raptor Freak trivia score. You're climbing up there. You really are. I don't think anybody's going to mess with Fiercey by the end of this playoffs, but Smooth Brown, man, what a late charge with the classic cards at the end there. Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, awesome stuff. Trevor's saying New York gave the L to the Sixers. Pacers give the Bucks the next L. I'm loving it. All the teams I wanted to win yesterday won yesterday. I wanted the Clippers to win. I wanted the Knicks to win. I wanted the Pacers to win, and I wanted the Timberwolves to win. So all four of my teams came through yesterday that I was picking and hoping would win. Good job, teams. Well, you want me to look at the ones for today? Let me go look at them. First, we got the ref report for Boston at Miami. John Goebel, Miami native, is refereeing in Miami for the Miami game as the crew chief, John Goebel. Courtney Kirkland is the second ref, and Mitchell Irvin is the third ref. Of course, in this game, I'm going for the Miami Heat to tie the series up with the Boston Celtics. If they can find a way to do it, Spoelstra can, and I'm hoping that they can do it somehow, some way. So you go, Tyler Hero. You go, Bam Adebayo. You tie up that series with the Celtics and scare the hell out of Celtics Nation, please. Thunder at New Orleans with brand new Coach of the Year, Mark Dagnall, getting announced as the NBA Coach of the Year for this past season. Second place, Jamal Mosley for Orlando. And third place, Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves, who busted out his knee last night. The crew chief in New Orleans tonight is Josh Tiven, with Bill Kennedy and Ed Malloy as the other two refs. That's a high caliber ref crew with three crew chiefs running it. Josh Tiven, Bill Kennedy, and Ed Malloy. Of course, in some ways, I'm a completionist. I love to see the Thunder just sweep the Pelicans out. If it's going to be like that, the Pelicans don't really have a chance. I'm sorry, Jonas. I love you, but I'd like to see the SGA get to the next round and be waiting for his next opponent with some time for rest. So, yeah, you go on, Thunder, and beat the New Orleans Pelicans in home tonight. Lakers are at Denver, and the crew chief is James Williams with Kevin Scott and Gianmitas Petraeus as the three refs. And, well, the Lakers are continuing to try and hold off elimination from the playoffs. They were successful in Game 4, winning their first game of the playoffs this year. Well, we'll have to see if they win another one. The Denver Nuggets are really hard to beat twice. And, well, you're probably going to lose tonight, LeBron, and you will be the next team eliminated. That's right. And that's what I'm hoping. So my picks for tonight are the home. It's Miami, Oklahoma City, and Denver. So two of the home teams and then Oklahoma City. That's who I'd like to win tonight. That's right. Let's go. Yeah, Trevor's saying OG and Precious stamped their name on that performance yesterday. OG with 16 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Yeah, let me talk about a comment on Twitter about a guy about Precious that I want to answer as a Raptors fan real quick, because there's a lot of people in New York. They're saying certain things about Precious and what happened with the trade, and us being stupid for trading him to them. So yeah, I love these guys. I think that both these guys are two of the top defenders in this league. I never thought that Precious was a bad player. A lot of dumb people in Toronto thought he was a bad player, and I've just said this is not true. Precious is not a bad player. He's a very good athlete. He's a very good defensive player. He's an extremely good rebounder. He's a good shot blocker. He can guard most people in this league. In fact, they were using him on Embiid yesterday, like I thought they would. And I've never, ever thought Precious was stupid to get. In fact, when we got the trade with Kyle Lowry and Goran Dragic, I was really happy we got Precious. And I was singing the praises of him. And of course, Toronto fans started saying, why did Miami fans dump on Precious? Why did they treat him so bad? He's awesome. Well, over time, we found out the lows and the bad stuff about Precious. And a lot of Raptor fans that just didn't have patience turned on him. And I was never agreeing with that. I always think that this kid is just a slam dunk, literally, that he's going to be very, very good still. And I've been saying this since he left. I have not changed my tune. Precious Achiuwa is a very good player. And if we had been more patient with him being on our team, or we were able to keep him on our team, I would have been happy about that, because he is a premium defender and he has so much potential on the offensive side that, the Knicks will probably get the spoils of that if they sign him back this summer. A lot of Knicks fans saying that they want him back for sure after yesterday's game and the big block at the end and the way he's playing. They really are relying on our former Raptors, the Knicks, to carry them in certain ways on defense. And I like that. These guys did really hard work in Toronto. and they're showing it on a big stage in Madison Square Garden in the playoffs. I like it. So JD Sports Talk, he's in New York, says Precious Achiuwa's wingspan on all contests at the rim, contesting perimeter shots bothered the Sixers. The throw-in the trade with the masterful defense showing 24 years old. That's what I'm saying. Precious is 24. And in some ways, look, I understand to get quickly in RJ, we had to give up OG and Precious. And that is a fair deal, if you ask me, sir. So everybody's going to have buyer's remorse, like these idiots that keep talking about Pascal Siakam so much recently. Just get over yourselves. We made the moves. We're going in a new direction, and this is what we're doing. And don't mistrust the decisions by Ujiri. That this is important that we build around Scott, and that all those guys needed to leave. They're going to have success. They're fantastic players. We made them into some amazing NBA players, Siakam and Anunoby and Achiuwa. And in some ways, we should be proud of that. But we couldn't keep it all together on this growth cycle. And in some ways, we had to do what we had to do. It was a tough thing. It's like pruning a tree. You got to prune a tree a little bit to get extra new growth that's flourishing and bountiful. If you don't prune the tree a little bit, well, you got to cut back a little bit to grow, to have more room to grow into. And that's what we did with our roster recently in this last season. So get over getting all upset about Siakam's not on the Raptors anymore. Get over, Achiuwa wasn't good enough, and I'm glad he's gone. Well, you were wrong. And in some ways, I'm really happy Precious is showing something so good for them on that stage. I never thought of him as a throw-in. I thought of Malachi as a throw-in, sure. But I thought of Precious as almost like OG's the most important player in that trade. But RJ and Emmanuel are second and third, and Precious is fourth. But if you put them on the scales of things between New York and Toronto in that trade, we got two starters. They got a starter, a defensive player of the year, and then they got a great bench player that's also a supreme defensive player too. So I say it's an even trade. Everybody's going to say, oh, the New York won the trade. New York, we need to look at what RJ and IQ do over the next 3, 4, 5 years and see how they grow before anybody makes any determinations about who won the deal. It's a very fair deal. It's just that the payoff for teams like Indiana and New York are showing now, and our payoff will show up later. I've never insulted Precious to the point where I've called him a throw-in. Don't get me wrong. And understand that there's a lot of Toronto fans that highly valued Precious and wish he was still wearing our red and black. Seriously. But that was a player that New York prized. We prized RJ and Emmanuel. And, well, we had to meet the price to get those two young players in our jersey from New York. So there's nothing wrong with this. It's just that they're in the playoffs. They're on TV, and you can see it. Well, next year, maybe we'll be in the playoffs. Who knows if they're in the playoffs or not? And then you'll see RJ and IQ doing those kind of things. That's how I got to say this. I'm proud of our former Raptors, especially our former Knicks, our former Raptors that are on the Knicks right now. Great job. In some ways, I can look at what they're doing against Philadelphia as somewhat revenge for our Raptors team a couple years ago when in Scotty's rookie year. That we're getting a little bit of revenge through OG and Precious taking out the Sixers in the first round. And I like that. I like that a lot. Monique is here. Good to see the super fan, Monique Lawrence. She's saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Happy retirement. Candace Parker, 10 surgeries is crazy. I had 3 surgeries. Leo Rawtons had 18. Think about it. Holy cow. When I had my really bad car wreck, I had like 7 surgeries in like the span of like 4 days. It was crazy. I was really messed up. Really, really messed up. Very lucky to still be alive and here today when I wrecked at 19. And now almost 30 years later, I'm still here. Thank God. I almost died that day. But yeah, this is an amazing story. It is Raptors related. And I actually thought about doing Candace Parker's retirement as the subject for today, but it's a little bit of a loose connection, seeing as her brother, Anthony Parker, older brother, was a Raptor alumni and somebody that we celebrated on this team. So Candace's family by default, because Anthony Parker was a Raptor for us. Well, Candace is finally retiring. She didn't play a whole lot last year for the Aces, but she is going to officially retire. Of course, she's on broadcasting a lot right now. And in some ways, the WNBA's got a new class of young women coming in that are very, very star-studded. I don't know. In some ways, that's kind of a shame that Candace can't play one more year to get some time on the court with people like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. But it is going to be what it's going to be. And if she wants to retire now after surgeries and everything like that, I get it. And I can go look at her letter about it. She's saying that it's no fun knowing that you. All right, yeah, I don't even know which part I should read. She fell in love with a little orange ball at 13 years old, and because of it, my world goes round. The highs are unmatched, and the lows taught me lessons. On and off the court, I'm proud I've always been true and stayed true to me, even when it wasn't popular. I'm grateful for that for 16 years I played a game for a living, and despite all the injuries I hooped, I'm grateful for family, friends, teammates, coaches, doctors, trainers, and fans who made this journey so special. There you go. And she mentions her old coach, Pat Summitt from Tennessee, and all kinds of different stuff in her letter. Nice, graceful letter and retirement. Happy retirement to Candace Parker. Yeah, this is cool. Well, of course, she's not going to go away. We're going to see her on TV a lot now after this, kind of like Kia Nurse. Kia Nurse is still playing, though. Yeah, but good morning, Monique. Always good to see you. In fact, right before I was going on the air this morning, I was trying to set up our WNBA fantasy league for this year, Raptor Freak Fantasy League. So if you're in our Raptor Freak Facebook chat, I will be posting a link to that sometime today. So if you want to get in there and join up again, now we'll ask if anybody's got the same account from last year and can link our history from last year to this year's league. That would be great, because I can't get my old account and find the old league from last year. So I'm going to set up a whole new league, but we can link the past history if we have somebody who played in the league last year join this year. So we'll figure that out. I'll try and start working on it a little bit this morning after I get off the stream. So yeah, the WNBA Fantasy League is going to be set up today, and join a limited spots. There's only 10 places to play. You can't have any more than 10 teams in the league. So it is very limited spots. If you really want to play, you need to get in there right away, because first come, first serve. And of course, the people on the Facebook chat and the members of this channel will have access to get in there first. And we'll see after that how many spots are left for other people that are involved in the channel. Yeah, there we go. Bryce is here. Good to see Bryce Lawson holding it down in the K-Tuck for the Raptor Freak family. Good morning, Lex from Raptor Freaks. I hope all is well for you all. Amazing playoffs so far. Real exciting games. I'm starting to like the Knicks, man. Brunson is a beast. Yeah, he's playing really big, high level, and Brunson is a tough guy. In some ways, that's what I love, is the way he stepped up in the game late to take down the Sixers. The Knicks have had a futile time since the 70s in their franchise for a lot of time. The Ewing era was very fun and successful to a degree, but it never really got the payoff that it needed between Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, John Starks, and Charles Oakley. That old unit back then, they were in the playoffs. They were there. They got to the finals, but they lost the Rockets. And, they never really got the payoff there. Well, it's looking like this mix of the Knicks has some legs to go somewhere for them this year. So Knicks Nation is getting excited. And it was fun to see John Starks on the sideline of the game yesterday in Philadelphia, cheering on the Knicks in enemy territory. Yeah, these guys, they really care. These old Knicks, like Charles Oakley, John Starks, people like that, Patrick Ewing. They really do care about the Knicks beating the Sixers. And meanwhile, the Sixers former guys are there too. Allen Iverson, Dr. J, sitting under the basket at the game also, watching from their side. So, yeah, this is an old matchup. The proximity of New York to Philadelphia, yeah, it's a grudge match. It's a grudge match that's been inactive because both teams have not been very good for most of the last 50 years. But, yeah, they are having it active now because they're both in a good, powerful place right now. So very fun. And I love seeing New York control the series, and hopefully they'll beat them in the next round and they'll be out. Butthole Face will be out of the playoffs. That's what I really, really want. And Knicks fans, I will wear something Knicks on my channel because I am so happy you put out Nick Nurse and the Sixers. That's right. There you go. There you go. Yeah, these playoffs have been fun, Bryce, haven't they? Yeah. Monique's saying, I'm not really watching the playoffs, to be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not either. I did watch the highlights of the Sixers-Knicks game yesterday, and I was very impressed with OG's defense. He really is brought something really good to the New York team, and they better appreciate him. He's a god in that city now, and he should be. Him and Precious are becoming heroes in that city, and they love him. They really, really love Precious. They really, really love OG. And well, I'm glad because we like those guys too and treat them right. And we'll do the same for RJ and IQ. That's right. Cowboys here. Good morning, Lex and Rapper Freaks. Dap to you, Bradley. I like the first thing Trevor said. That's why I wasn't and still ain't worried about what Masai did this season. We're ahead of the curve. Yeah, listen, we're going to do things our own way, and our own way has gotten us a championship in 2019. We're going to do things in our own way, and in our own way, built up players like Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Norman Powell. We built up so many great players that are playing at a high level all over the league. Fred VanVleet. So that's just our pattern, and now we've got a new crop of youngsters and a new teacher that has a proven track record of development. In fact, I think that once again, I need to toot Darko Rajakovic's horn a little bit here and say Grady Dick and Scotty Barnes' development this year has a huge part of it was Darko. That the results from Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., and other players on the Grizzlies before this, Zaire Williams, this is showing that the pattern is that Darko goes places and guys make jumps. He is a big part in Devin Booker's jumps as an offensive player over his career because Darko was in Phoenix working with Devin Booker. This is what I'm saying. We got this coach that gets better things out of people. He did something with Desmond Bain, made him into who he is today. You could ask Desmond Bain, who helped you do this? And he said, Coach Rajakovic helped me huge. He's my guy. I love him. And I'm so proud that he's an NBA head coach now for the Raptors. So why wouldn't it make sense? We saw something crazy with Grady this year. And the idea that Darko had about putting him on that weight training around Christmas and then that stint in 905 and then seeing what he did in the second half of the season, Grady Dick, getting a lot of minutes. Scotty Barnes, this whole season was crazy with his jump and his development. After last year seemed like he stagnated after his rookie year. Nick Nurse was on autopilot and he was not trying to push him in the way he should have. And that's a messed up thing that Nick Nurse did a subterfuge year of bullshit in his last year coaching for our team. Hurting Koloko, hurting Delano, hurting Scotty. And in some ways, Darko showed the jumps he can start giving to Scott. And Scotty trusts Darko, and they have a shared vision. They've talked about what player Scotty should look like in like 4 or 5 years from now. And Scotty loves the ideas that Darko has for him and how he wants to push him and make him a better and better player. So I'm excited about it too. I'm with you guys on this. And more credit should be given to Darko for how Grady and Scotty developed this year. I know Scotty did a lot of work last summer and put it in, but in some ways, Darko came in and guided him and said, this is what I want from you. In some ways, I want you to work on this and this and this. Scotty came back a better player, better condition. And that's what I'm saying. We'll have to see how things go this summer with the leaps and bounds in their development. Grady's body changing and getting stronger and him maturing and looking older. This is all stuff that's going to help these guys get better. I'm telling you right now. Yeah. Seymour's saying, I can't even watch the playoffs if my Raps ain't in it. Yeah, in some ways, I'm watching it because there's former Raptors in it. And that's kind of fun. But yeah, I know what you mean. There's also the other side of it, though, Seymour. If it's not, your team's not in it, it's not as stressful. Like, think about how Philly fans are feeling right now. They're all stressed the hell out. They are down 3-1. So, yeah, it's stressful. It's Leaf fans. They feel like this right now on the brink of elimination by the Boston Bruins. Yeah, they're feeling a little bit like, oh, my gosh, it's trauma. It's trauma. That's the thing. The playoffs can be sweet success and feeling real good, but it can also be bitter defeat and failure and sadness and loathing. So, yeah, it's a tough game. In some ways, us not being involved this year is less stress. In some ways, I'm moving right now. In some ways, I don't want to be all worked up because of playoffs right now. Thank God, in some ways, we're a down year while I'm moving to the country right now, at least personally for me. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Monday. Missed the live yesterday, but got to watch it after. W as usual, beginning of an end of an era. KD out, Curry out, LeBron soon to be out. Yeah, those are big names from the last 10 years, last 20 years with LeBron. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. I hope you enjoyed my ref report yesterday. I know it was a little haphazard stream. I had a couple of technical difficulties. I wish I had read all the comments that were on the original stream, but Things happen. Yeah, it's fun and interesting to see who the best refs were for us this past season. Who were the not the best refs? Murat Kugat, yeah, and Matt Bolin, thank you, and Jason Goebel. You guys were the best refs for us last year. And Murat Kugat, James Williams, yeah, a couple of you other guys. Yeah, you weren't very good for us. But yeah, Ref Report, always trying to educate and give Raptors fans some news and stuff on that like that. Yeah, let's see. Bryce is saying, Miss Mo, I will say you're missing out on some historical ball. Ant-Man sweeping the Suns, Brunson showing he's a winner, Pascal going up 3-1, Mavs and Clips going at it. Well, also, it's a long season. Monique goes to a lot of basketball games at the Scotiabank Arena. And in some ways, this is time for rest in some ways, the off season. And I'm the same way. I mean, I'm not watching the games either, Bryce. I do feel like I'm not really missing out though, because I'm keeping track of what happens. And in some ways, the games can be fun to watch minute by minute, but there are time you're putting time into like 2 hours to watch every game, and I'm not willing to do that, not with all the commercials and all the bullshit. So I'd much rather do what I got to do in my life, and I'll just check the box score and I'll watch the highlights. That's kind of what I've been doing for the playoffs this year. It's just a time thing. I don't have enough time. I have so much going on right now. If I wasn't so busy, maybe I would watch some of the games. And I'm sure Monique is super busy right now too herself. For Fiercey saying playoffs are intense. That Knicks versus Sixers rivalry is intense, but I'm glad Bozo and Nick Nurse are slowly getting eliminated. Once again, Embiid stumbled on both Brunson and Hart. He's a menace. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that highlight. I was really impressed with Josh Hart blocking shots too. Between Achua, Anunoby, and Hart, they had 10 blocks just between those three players yesterday. That was really interesting. Yeah, Josh Hart getting in there and blocking shots too. Yeah, Embiid, man, yeah, he is really trying to hurt people sometimes. He's acting like he's trying to protect himself. That's what he's trying to say. People have hurt me in the past, and I have to protect myself. Bullshit. You're like the biggest guy in the court. And honestly, you're more likely to hurt anybody else than they are to hurt you. Come on. Unless you're some sort of Glass Joe, big old Glass Joe. Cowboys saying Pascal doing the shake and bake on Portis, then a nasty dunk and a stare down. Let's go, Raptors. I saw that Bobby Portis Jr. got kicked out of the game very early. And with Giannis and Lillard not there playing because they're both hurt, man, it's like a Chris Middleton show. But Brooke Lopez stepping up and getting a bunch of baskets for them, but it's just not enough. And finally, Halliburton's starting to wake up and play a bit better. And Miles Turner has been absolutely fantastic in the last couple games for the Pacers. In some ways, this is poetic because Miles Turner's been such a loyal, great person for the Pacers franchise for a long time, like 10 years. They've always talked about trading him, but they never traded him. They've held on to him. And now, in some ways, they're getting to reap the spoils of keeping Miles Turner around for so long as a great vet. He has been absolutely steadying for the Pacers in this playoff. And he has been the man stepping up. And I heard that what he's doing now is just if he's open, he just has to shoot it because he's so hot right now from three. So, yeah, you go on Miles Turner, Lego Maniac. In some ways, I'm really, really happy to see your loyalty to the Pacers getting paid off, and you're getting some postseason success and victory with Siakam next to you now and Halliburton emerging as a young star. So, yeah, really, really good stuff. I love that so much. Milwaukee, what a mess. Their coach is a mess. Their stars are a mess. I heard that Lillard was sitting on the second bench with the assistant coaches sulking during the game last night. Yeah, this is the funny thing about these guys, Beal and Lillard. Yeah, you're losers. And it doesn't matter if you're on Portland or Washington, you guys. You're going to go somewhere else and you're going to lose because you're high volume, low efficiency players. You guys have always been this your whole careers, Beal and Lillard. You have to take all the shots, and, well, we better hope you make most of them because we're living and dying on that. And if you guys aren't, you suck, and you get 6 points, and you get swept out, Bradley. That's how it works, yeah. There you go. Bryce is saying, I watched Joel give up a free mid-range to foul Hunt and failed. And it's sad to watch, honestly. Yeah, he's baiting for fouls. Well, they should be calling him for that offensive foul, for kicking his leg out or trying to lean in to get contact. Yeah, he's either way, it's funny. We'll just see how this all goes out. In some ways, the results speak for themselves. Yeah, James is here. Good to see James. Precious should be in the lineup regularly. His defense is needed. Yeah, with Mitchell Robinson out, he gets those minutes. And yeah, I agree. I think that they played majority of the game with Achua and Anunoby out there together. And that is such a powerful combo. I'm telling you, the Raptors had four of the best defenders in the league on their team a couple years ago with Anunoby, Achua, Barnes, and Siakam. And even Fred is a top defensive player too. I do not get how that team couldn't work. In some ways, I blame the hell out of Nick Nurse for making that team all confusing and weird because he didn't give them roles in certain ways. He wanted to play positionless, and he didn't tell them, all right, I want you to rebound. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. If I wish that they'd just given job descriptions to each one of them, maybe we would still have the band together because they were winning and successful. Nick Nurse, you're a big fail. How did you fumble that roster you had? The last 2 years you were on the Raptors. I really do blame Nick for fumbling that amazing roster that he had. I don't care if it didn't seem like they fit. The coach is supposed to make them fit. And in some ways, his whole idea of them being ambiguous and doing everything, that was stupid. There were so many different things they could have been doing right and correctly if they've been playing position basketball. And they could have with that makeup. It's just that they needed to have real positions and put OG at shooting guard, put Fred at point guard, put Pascal at small forward, put Scotty at power forward, put Jakob at center. And that team would have worked. It would have worked if you just played traditional roles, you dumbass Nick Nurse. In some ways, I'm blaming him even more for the absolute fail of the talent glut that we had on our team in the last 2 years that we had to disassemble because this idiot fumbled the ball on how to use them. Yeah, some people would say, what are you talking about? Nick only used what Masai gave him. Well, what did Masai give him? Look at these guys all over the league doing what they're doing now. So blame Nick Nurse for not utilizing his players right and making it work. Idiot. He's the coach. He should have made the roles and said, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. He didn't do that. Too ambiguous. Seemed like the roles didn't fit. They could have fit if he defined the roles a little bit better. If he defined things a little bit better instead of sitting on his ass during his last year with the Raptors, being confusing so that he could get the hell out and go to Philadelphia. Yeah, that's some bullshit. You want to blame Siakam having to go to Indiana? Blame Nick Nurse because he didn't make it work. And then we got the team in the fall with Darko and with Dennis. And you know what? It was all screwed up by then. And well, Nick screwed it up the year before. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's see. What are we saying here? Trevor's saying Joel did not appreciate New York fans took over the arena. Yeah, good for that. I love that. That's fun. Yeah, be mad at your own fans. Let them boo you. When you leave them high and dry, when you stab Philadelphia 76ers fans in the back, Joel Embiid, when you go to another team, yeah, they're going to hate you even more. You might as well just start building up hate with the Sixers fans because they're going to hate you just like they hate Ben Simmons by the end of this. Watch. I'm going to predict that right now. They're going to think that you're a big waste, and they're going to be so mad at you for wasting their time with the process for like 10 years. Oh, my gosh. When you finally leave them, they're going to be like hating you. Watch. They're going to talk about you like a pariah around Philadelphia. You will not be a hero there. Watch. I'm going to tell you that right now. Cowboys saying in Bozo, alley-oop to Fiercey, Nick Nurse, butthole face, laugh out loud. I mean, some of the Philly fans, they see what we see about Joel, and they hate him for it. We know that he's playing dirty. I hate how he plays. I hate how he represents my team that I love. A lot of Philly fans do not like Joel because of some of that stuff. I'm telling you right now. Bryce is saying they gave up 10 picks for Bradley Beal. Crazy work. Yeah, really, really poor management. Yeah, you tried to slide one in there before the salary cap rules changed. That was so dumb, Matashiba. You're going to pay a lot of money for losing. That team is not going to ever be successful. It's sad. Why did you get a duplicate player of Devin Booker, a worse player than Devin Booker? You already had Devin Booker. You didn't need to get Bradley Beal. That was one of the dumbest moves in the world. You should just let his ass go to Miami or something like that. But getting him in Phoenix, that was so stupid. Bradley Beal's a loser. He has not been good for like 4 years. Why the hell would you pay him so much money and mess up your team like that? Now you're screwed up for like years to come. Yeah, you're the Nets now, Suns. Yeah, you're the Nets with your stupid ass because it's Kevin Durant right there. It's already there. It's Kevin Durant. Fiercely saying OG Masterclass clamped. Yeah, OG-itis in effect. Precious block party. So proud of them. I get nostalgic when watching them as they do the exact same as they were on our team. That's right. This is what I'm saying. Precious is a valuable player, And everybody was kind of dissing him for not being totally good on offense. That's not necessary. There's so many good things he does otherwise that you can overlook some of the silly shit on offense, the way he dribbles or some of the mistakes he might make. That's the way I always looked at it. There's so much more to him than just that. Come on now. The way he attacks the rim, the way he blocks shots, the way he plays defense, the way he rebounds. I'm telling you, that's all important. We would love to have Precious on our team still to help us off the bench with rebounding, or, he's absolutely a great rebounder. One of the best rebounders on the Raptors the last couple years. Fiercely saying, well, Precious is limited and only focuses on rebounds and defensive effort, not ball handling or driving whatsoever, which is the best formula for him. See, I don't agree with this. I think that this is wrong. I think that he is good on offense and that he should be more encouraged to shoot threes and attack the basket and get his offensive game more off the ground. I think that in some ways, the mindset that he shouldn't be doing that stuff has held him back. It started in Miami with Spoelstra saying, you're in a box and we only want you to do specific things in your rookie year or so. Came to Toronto, Nick Nurse allowed him to do more in some ways, like shoot threes and attack the basket. And there was some fruit there to be growing and bear that fruit and get it later. It's just that no patience was shown with that, and it was yanking him around and saying, no, we don't want you to do that anymore. And the fans were whining and crying about it. I'm telling you, if we just let him go through his tough times and triumphs and tribulations, in the end, he would be a very fantastic offensive player. You just got to take the chances and let him develop in that side. He'll be very good. It's just that you have to have the patience and the ability to go through him making mistakes. And some people just didn't have that. And I don't agree with that. I think that there really is a good offensive player in there that is going to come out at some point. Watch. His defense and his rebounding will keep him in the league. But at some point, it could be like 5 or 6 years into his career, he's going to turn the corner and boom, all of a sudden, he's going to be a good offensive player also. Watch. And you remember I said this. Cowboys saying 10 picks for Beal. That's crazy. They picked the wrong Bradley. Yeah, really, really dumb. Really, really dumb. Poor management. They're doing lots of great things, like putting the games on free TV, no cable. They're doing a lot of great things in the desert. All the best top class stuff for the arena. The fans are getting a better experience. Matashib is an awesome owner. Just very poor GMing. Very, very poor GMing on the Phoenix Suns. Very, very poor. Very, very poor GMing. Yeah, Cowboys saying, let's go, Raptors. That's right. And he's got a whole lineup of Raptors and Raptor streaks and team players and the front office and the coach. I like it. Fiercely saying, I get worried when Conley bumped into Finch. Glad he's doing better. Beal's disrespect was based on frustration, but it's not Vogel's fault if you were in foul trouble and couldn't hit a shot. Yeah, that's unprofessional. In some ways, that's him signing off saying, I don't want this to be my coach next year. I don't know how you deal with that. I mean, seriously, this has been a problem in Phoenix for a couple of years now with Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton. Different coach and player problems. You don't want that kind of stuff. And Bradley's being a little poop, little kind of a whiny baby in some ways. He's upset because he got swept out. He's actually promised that they wouldn't get swept, and they did. So he was wrong, and he looks like a fool. That's part of the reason why he did that, because they got swept. Listen, Frank Vogel's not the best coach. He won a championship in a bullshit way. And in some ways, it's like he's a placeholder. He was just like, because he's a name. He doesn't mean that he's a good fit for that team. In some ways, I'm glad the Raptors didn't hire a coach like Frank Vogel, a retread, somebody who's kind of had success before. These kind of coaches aren't necessarily good coaches. They're just in the right place in the right time. And I believe that about Frank Vogel. And in some ways, I don't think he's that great of a coach, but I agree. It's not his fault what happened to the Phoenix Suns. But also at the same time, Bradley Beal, you're just a loser. I'm just going to keep saying that when I bring it up. Yeah, and we hope Coach Finch has his knee heal up quick so that he can be back on the sidelines. We'll have to see how they handle this. Are they going to have the assistant coach for a little while because he's lame, because he can't stand, because his knee ruptured? I don't know. This is very new territory in some ways in the recent NBA, where a coach is not able to possibly coach the team because of injury. Very, very interesting and different. Yeah, good job getting the card of the day, Michael Cage. Look at Michael Cage there with that mustache. That's right, man. Looking like Richard Roundtree on there. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, Fiercey saying, Greg Foster, haha, Caucasian, my bad. Yeah, I think Greg Foster actually played on the Raptors. I want to say he did come and play for us at one point. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. The Sixers, especially Joel, two-finger salute from Dana. Canadian Dana has got the two-finger salute this morning for the Sixers and especially Joel. Cowboy, you think this is O.J. Simpson? O.J. Simpson? What? Dale Ellis did play with Michael Cage, but once again, this guy is like 6'10", and Dale Ellis is like 6'4" and a three-point shooter. But good guess, Kareem. Good to see you this morning. Full ass in it with the full name. Fiercely Salcera saying Kurt Thomas. Yeah, Kurt Thomas. This is a little before Kurt Thomas. This guy's like 80s, more 80s player with a little bit of 90s. And Kurt Thomas is very much a 90s player. So, yeah, it's a little bit earlier than Kurt Thomas. And I don't remember Kurt Thomas being on the Sonics. Yeah, Smooth Brown, man, got the win once again. You remember him as a Clipper. Yeah, he was on the Clippers, too. He was actually a San Diego Clipper. That's how old school a Clipper Michael Cage was. He was actually a San Diego Clipper when they were in San Diego. It's kind of crazy. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying here. Fiercely saying flat top like Larry Blackman. The cameo saying word up. Oh, down there and bang around the world. You got to go down like that. All the boys and girls. Your mama, your sister, and your father too. Cameo, yeah, I like that band. Word up. It's the code word. No matter how you say it, you know you will be heard. That's a good song. I love that song. When I was little, I loved that song. I was like always dancing to it. It was like MTV days, and I was like dancing to Word Up with that guy with that hair. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Kid and Play. Another two really high flat top on a Kid there. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Cowboys saying my saluting fingers won't go down. They're pointing at you, Nick. Man. Fiercely saying Dame Lillard disengaged, sitting in the back row like a kid who doesn't want to be at a school play. Wow, what a nightmare season. You really wanted to orchestrate your ability to get to Miami. I don't know if it would have changed anything if you were in Miami. I don't know. What would Dame Lillard be like on Miami right now against the Celtics? How would that be going right now? Think about that, seriously, because that's what he ultimately really wanted last summer, but he went to Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's been a mess. It's so funny because he said the player he most liked to play with in the whole entire league was Giannis. Well, you got that. And how did it work out? Seriously. I'm telling you, the problem's with Lillard himself. I'm telling you right now. Fiercely saying Bobby Portis is the next Draymond, needs to work on his anger management. Bucks are a mess. Only Middleton is impactful, in my opinion. Yeah, Brook Lopez had to step up yesterday. But yeah, I mean, they're in trouble. They just don't have enough weapons against Pacers and Pascal and them to get over this. They're going to have a first-round exit. And we knew this was going to happen. Doc Rivers was going to lose in the playoffs at some point. If Bobby Portis is trying to be like Draymond, well, that sucks. Either way, Pascal is going to beat Bobby Portis. We just know that. That's just history. Bobby Portis Jr. versus Pascal Siakam, well, you're going to get beat, Bobby Portis Jr. Even if you're not in the game, you're going to get beat either way. Yeah, Cowboys laughing at Fiercey. Fiercey saying, you know it, Cowboy. There you go. Full Ass is saying there's no real direct correlation, but if the Lakers, Sixers, Bucks, Cavs, Clippers, and the Magic and the Maple Leafs lose, I consider it a successful Raptor season. It's Jurassic Park, not Maple Leaf Square. Boom goes a dynamite. I'm going to give you a three-pointer, Kareem, because, man, I love this statement all around. I mean, seriously, this is a great way to look at things in some ways. All right, I know you're who you are, so I'm not going to put the name half-ass down on here or full-ass. Let's see, 131. You're at 131, Kareem. Although I could give you a different account and maybe give the rest of everybody a chance to catch up with you. No, I think this is awesome. He's saying that the Lakers, the Sixers, the Bucks, the Cavs, the Clippers, and let's say the Celtics and the Maple Leafs lose. I consider it a successful Raptor season. It's Jurassic Park, not Maple Leaf Square. I love it. In some ways, I'm not hating on the Leafs like this. My opinion on the Leafs is I want them to do well, but if they don't do well, I'm not I'm not upset. I'm not going to get all bent out of shape and depressed about it if they get eliminated. Are they playing tonight? I believe they're playing tonight, right? Because they got let me see. Is the game tonight that they got another Leaf game? Let me see. All right, hang on. I'm on my ESPN. No, they're not playing tonight. So they're going to play tomorrow. And yeah, they are facing elimination. They need to beat Boston tomorrow, Maple Leafs. Come on now. I am rooting for y'all to get past the first round. I want y'all to beat the Bruins. I want y'all to win the Stanley Cup. Just do it, Leafs. Come on now. But yeah, I agree. It's Jurassic Park, not Maple Leaf Square. You had to put the sign up on the wall because y'all are all so worried. That's Jurassic Park. It's been Jurassic Park before Maple Leaf Square. We were out there making it Jurassic Park, and then y'all got all threatened, and you had to put a sign up that said Maple Leaf Square, Maple Leaf Square. It's Jurassic Park. Trust me, I was out there originally when it first started, out in the cold, out in the rain, and one of the first fans out in Jurassic Park, like over 15 years ago or something, watching games outside the arena. And then the Leafs started doing that when they started getting the playoffs again. Yeah, we did it first, and that is Jurassic Park. If it wasn't copyright by Spielberg or whoever, I'm sure we could put Jurassic Park up there outside that part instead of Maple Leaf Square. That's not what it is. And I'm fully with Kareem on this. Mike saying OG and Precious don't fit the new team identity. RJ and Quickly and that 31st pick do fit with what Scotty and how Masai and Darko want to shape this new team. He's right, and I agree with him. But I'm just saying, could Nick make it work? He could have tried to, done a little bit different as far as roles and things. If you designated roles a little bit better, maybe that old core could have worked. Maybe it could have worked. I don't trust Nick in his last year that we did, Mike, that when you were around the team, we were watching him. I did not trust anything he did that season. There was some coach shaving, like point shaving, coach shaving wins. We should have been better than a 500 exactly win team. We should have had 50 wins last season, and we should have gotten into the real playoffs and done something. He had to guide our team or hold our team down so that he could get out of here. And it makes me so mad he did that. Really does. Cowboys saying it will always be Jurassic Park. It will always. That's right. It is. Mike saying passing is key to the new identity. OG and Precious weren't passers. I think this is true. I think this is true. That this is one of the toughest choices with players that are on our team and aren't. Is we want everybody to be such a good passer because of Darko's system, and that may be part of the reason why Gary is not re-upped with this summer. That may be part of the reason why Chris Boucher is not on our team next year, because those two guys in particular are not passers either. So I've been thinking about this, and I think you're right. I think that passing is a prerequisite and absolutely essential for you to be a Toronto Raptor in Darko's new system and new roster. I think you're right. Blackhawks saying the IQ RJ trade was great for us. That Tibbs is the right coach for Precious. Precious needs to be a rebounding juggernaut, but his ambition to be a scorer muddies his path. Well, he's going to have to be able to score to an extent. In a lot of systems, he needs to have a three-point shot just to be a threat, just to keep things honest with stretching the floor. And then also, I'm telling you guys, I see shades of Scotty and Giannis in Precious when he dribbles the ball up the court quickly and he puts them on their heels. It's kind of like he's aggressive coming up and he attacks. And he's very, very good at throwing it down on the rim. If he can get loose and get a lane, he will go up there and just throw it down on them, and they can't do nothing about it. I'm telling you, there's a lot of really good gold in that in the future. I'm telling you, I'm just trust me on this. They need to continue to try and use him that way. Thibodeau is only going to use him in the way you guys are saying, as a defender and a rebounder. Well, that's leaving stuff on the shelf. I still believe that. And in some ways, well, you don't want to do it. He's your all player. If you don't do it, okay, that's your loss. That's the way I look at it as from the outside. I understand Precious as an offensive player could be so incredibly good, guys. Seriously. Fiercely saying, I will join the WNBA Fantasy League. All right. Awesome. I will definitely put it in places where you can see it, Fiercely. It's just I got to get it all set up first. G saying, Aaron Gordon said, paraphrasing, they play FIBA style, and it's good basketball. He's talking about his own team, the Denver Nuggets, play a FIBA style. Well, with a guy like Jokic in the center, yeah, you can play a little bit of FIBA style, and that's smart. I'm telling you, FIBA melding NBA talent in FIBA style is going to be the dominant thing that wins in this league soon. That the team concept is so important The individual era of the 2010s and LeBron and Kevin is dying. That the teams that are going to win more often in the championships are not superstar teams with three great players at the top. It's going to be complete team concept with the players that all fit and do roles, and they just cover all the things you need as a basketball team. And Denver Nuggets are a good example of this. And I'm all about this. I love this. FIBA basketball in the NBA undercover and kind of sneaking in there, and people don't even realize it and they're watching it. That's going to win. I'm telling you, FIBA is a pure basketball brand. And I want to see more of this. And we've got the right coach coaching the Raptors for this too. Yeah, Blackhawks saying Sixers lost yesterday because they couldn't come up with enough dirty moves. Yes, Neil. Yes, I love it. All right, I'm going to give you a dunk. That's funny. You're at the Magic Johnson, Urban Magic Johnson 32 for Blackhawk right now. That's awesome. Yeah, they didn't have enough dirty moves, and the rest are calling them on it. Mike's saying, like, even Grady has some passing IQ. We could see them get a forward with some passing talent, whether it was used and coach, some kind of passing experience. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is really the core. I mean, it's evidence with our centers. We have two of the best passing centers in the league with Olynyk and Pirtle, and that's valued. That we need those kind of guys to make this offense to work. So in some ways, that is part of the roster build that's really showing this. As I called it before, a pointless system. What means is no point guard, meaning every single person on that team could be the person making the assist at any given time. And Scotty may be the default point guard in the years to come, and Emmanuel's more a shooting guard, or vice versa. It's very versatile. So all of a sudden, Jakob is the hub, and he's distributing the ball, and Kelly comes in off the bench and does the same at the 5. So yeah, I'm really excited about continuing with Darko, his system, and seeing how these guys progress. Blackhawks saying Bobby Portis tried to be slick, and they said, "You're out of here." They kicked him out real early, too. And I love that. Yeah, you go, NBA refs. You guys are my friends. I love you guys. Darko and his coaching staff and the Raptor Freak we're on your side now, except for a couple of bad apples in the referee community. We love most of the NBA refs. That's going to be my stance next year. In fact, the ref report is going to be all about love, guys. I'm going to be as positive as possible towards the refs to try and curry favor for the Raptors. I may even kiss their ass in the morning. So, yeah, the ref report, I'm already deciding next year's going to have a new feel. I'm going to pander to them, and I'm going to say nice things about them mostly. I'm not going to try and make fun of them at all. If there's a couple of them that I will go off on still because we hate them. We just hated them for a long time. Ed Malloy, Scott Foster. But most of the refs, I'm going to be really, really cool and awesome with them. In fact, I might be one of the funniest things about the stream next year is that I'm going to be doing a really positive ref report that kisses the ref's ass. It's going to be great, y'all. You're going to think it's funny. Y'all are going to think it's funny. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Okay, you have a correction to your last one. David's here. Got a meeting in 5. Just want to say, what's up, Lex? Go Raps and fuck Philly. There you go. David just came in to say his 2 cents, and it's pretty much what he says almost every day. And let's give him a dunk. He's at 92. What a great year. 1992. I was in high school. All right, let's see. Mike's saying big facts, Lex, on Darko, seeming like the guy who made JJJ, Bane, etc. That's what I'm saying. They give him credit. He unlocked a lot of those Grizzlies. And if we can see that some of the stuff that happened with the Grizzlies and their success when Darko was around, they were not successful this year. Darko was not around. Well, they've been successful in the years before that when Morant wasn't doing stupid shit and they were healthy. And in some ways, the success of Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zaire Williams, and a few of the other guys on that team, probably even Sante Aldama coming up. Yeah, Darko had a hand in this. He had a hand in this. He had a hand in some of the stuff in Oklahoma City way back with some of those guys there. He had a hand in Phoenix when he was there. Wherever Darko's going, there's guys that are cultivating and getting new skills and developing. And that's what I love to see on our team going forward with guys like Scotty and Grady. Yeah, Fiercely saying Scotty's offseason training with Brian Macon significantly helped, especially his three-pointers. I believe this year the ups and downs will help him in terms of maturity and mental mindset. Yeah, I hope so. I really do. Scott, keep maturing, keep growing up as a great young man in the NBA. You're an all-star this year, and you have more accolades to come. And just keep striving. You got a great coach, a great front office, a great team to be the franchise face of. And it's all good, man. It's coming up. Good things are coming up for you guys. and I'm really, really happy to see things happen. I know Scotty's going to be working very, very hard with Brian Macon in this offseason with a sheet of stuff that, Darko values and what he wants to go in that direction. That's a great thing about Scott. He's so versatile. In some ways, Darko can really kind of like fine tune and think about the trends of the basketball world and say, Scotty, to be ahead of things, I'm noticing that this is happening in FIBA and this is happening in this. I want to steal this from FIBA and I want to take this from college. I saw the Kentucky Wildcats doing this, and I wanted you to kind of like look at this kind of action and in your decision making and doing this. This is the kind of stuff he's looking at. I'm telling you, Darko's going to go do research like crazy. He's already doing it right now because he's off. He's watching everything in the basketball world. He's gleaning the trends and what's coming up, and he's going to try. And because he has such a great player like Scott, he can really mold him, really mold him in different ways because Scott's so versatile and can do everything on the basketball court. That's part of the fun of it. Let's go look at the Instagram stories since you brought up the offseason with our guys. First of all, Dubber Don Delano is in Dubai, and he is just really living it up. He's partying like crazy. He's at some sort of party, and there's a lot of people in the room, and he comes in a convertible sitting in the back like he's in a parade, and everybody's cheering, and they're like taking pictures and stuff. So Delano's living that life, that nightlife in Dubai, and doing our thing. Our Rexdale bus, our 45. We love you, man. And you always be a Toronto guy, and you always be a Raptor originally. So we're going to love you, Delano. But he's out there living that life. He's collecting those cities. And right now he's in Dubai, living it up right there. Miles Burns on his Instagram is interesting. He's with two young ladies in one picture. I just like this photo, and he wanted to put it on his Instagram stories. And then also he's got a picture of him with another young lady, and he's wearing a Colorado Avalanche shirt. I'm like, no, the Jets are playing the Avalanche right now, and I'm a Winnipeg Jets fan. So I'm like, no, don't be an Avalanche fan, Miles Burns. But he's got the Avalanche shirt on, supporting Colorado. No, go Jets. And I know the Avalanche are actually winning that series. It's unfortunate. Dennis went to a basketball game in Germany with his whole family, his mom, his brother, his nephew, his son, his wife, everybody on courtside in Braunschweig watching the game. Very, very cool to see Dennis and his family and his brother, Shay, all at the game together and having family time. I'm so happy that in some ways, well, Dennis, you're out of the playoffs. At least you get to be around your family and get time to be back in Germany. Of course, he's got some Puma stuff on blast. McCurr is in the Sydney Harbor. We can see the Sydney Opera House and the water on there. And we know that Maker is over on Down Under, still hanging out in Australia right now. Hopefully he'll be back next year with the 905. I really liked him on the 905. I think there is potential for McCurr in the NBA, and he is somebody we should try and develop next year even further. If you send Evo down there and you get Evo to work with McCurr, I would love to see McCurr be one of the call-ups from the 905 this season for the Raptors because he's got great length and he has a lot of great potential. So let's hold on to him, Luke Wynn, Masai Ujiri, and Bobby Webster. I like Maker, and I think that Maker should be on 905 next year, and hopefully maybe even on the Raptors next year. Mr. New York City's got his Raptors shirt on. I love it, and he's with his dog, Mayo. I don't know who he is. He's a trainer. But, yeah, I love seeing Marquise still sporting the Raptor red, still a company man. And, yeah, we're going to come back around. We're going to get you involved still, Marquise. So don't get all upset about getting waived this year. Kansas City signed Phillip Brooks in the draft, and Marquise is celebrating that. So Phillip Brooks is a friend of his, I guess. Let's see. We got Precious. He's got highlights from his game yesterday. Very awesome. We see Joel trying to take a shot in the last 3 minutes of game, a three, and Precious puts it in the crowd. I love it. Yeah, Precious, you are a king of New York at this point, my guy. Growing up there, it's got to feel really good. And seeing you guys win and beat Philly on their own home court yesterday, that is the theme for today. And we're all about it. I love celebrating. Jordan Wara's got his dog in the yard, a nice Doberman mix. It looks like a Doberman Schnauzer mix of a dog. And Scotty is in still in Cancun or in the somewhere, but he's with his amigos. Yeah, he's always with Nardo, Jay, and Lloyd in a pool somewhere, and they're partying. You can tell Scotty's having a nice, relaxing vacation away from basketball for a couple weeks. They did say 3 weeks of vacation. So that's where Scotty's with Lloyd, Nardo, and Jay. at Cancun. And it's good to see. That's from Lloyd's account, Scotty reposting it. Oakley's got an old school picture of him in the New York jersey around playoff time. He's talking about what he would do to Embiid if he was playing. And there's Lloyd posting the picture of Scotty on his account too. So there's their Instagram stories. Lloyd and Scotty still on vacation with Nardo and Jay and in the pool. Good stuff. Yeah, let's go. Let's see. Blackhawks saying Scotty will be back like a monster. Failure motivates players. Ant and Cat are riding high, but they remember the failures. Yeah, they went through it. That's what I'm saying. It's a escalator of success. In some ways, you got to take those first steps and fail so you learn what it takes to get higher. And in some ways, for our first championship, it was Kyle and DeMar and taking those steps towards LeBron and failing during the LeBronto years that got us to the championship. That buildup of wanting to win and beat the go higher was building up with the Raptors franchise. We've got to start doing that again. And hopefully we can be a playoff team next year and start the whole process of learning through the mistakes and failure in the playoffs. Now, if we're lucky and somehow, some way, we have a path that just happens and we get through there because we're just that good and we're that talented, that'd be fantastic. But usually it is the case where you're going to have to go in there, losing the first couple rounds a couple times, and then you get further. You make progress. Then you make it the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals. Then you make it the finals, and then hopefully you make it and you win it. So there's going to be a staircase to this. And the Timberwolves have gone through some failure in the playoffs in recent years to get to this point of sweeping the Suns last night. Yeah, all in the right order. That's right. Yeah, Cowboys got Darko on blast. Mike saying Blackhawk facts. They talked about in the post-game interview. They definitely were getting it straight. Laugh out loud. Yeah. They've got their best team in Minnesota right now. And part of it's health. And part of it is that these guys are actually working really well together. The Twin Towers experiment did not go very well in the first year of Towns with Gobert. But now it's working out way better. And I think it's the emergence of Anthony Edwards and the steadiness of Mike Conley that is a big part of it. And you add in things like the great work of Naz Reid off the bench for that team. Jaden McDaniels being very underrated defender and very capable player also. That's a very good team. And they've got a lot of depth too. So we'll have to see how far they go. The Timberwolves, they're doing very, very well. Let's see. Trevor's saying when the Sixers get eliminated, they will be 0-15 in the playoffs. I love it. I love that, Trevor. That's awesome. Mike's saying reports have come out that the players have given up on Vogel. He got mad after a bad game, and players said they had to try hard not to laugh. Yeah, that's too bad. That's the problem. In some ways, that's why it's so hard to be an NBA coach, is you've got millionaires that a lot of them won't take you seriously. Frank Vogel is a champion head coach, and these guys are laughing at him. That's what I'm saying. It is so hard to win people over and get them on your side. And the amazingness about our coach is he lost 15 games in a row, and they still believe in him like crazy. Yeah, think about it from that perspective, Raptors fans. That this team went to the playoffs. They got swept in the first round, and all their players think that their coach is a joke. Yeah, we are very grateful and lucky to have Coach Rajakovic because the players know he's a badass. They communicate with him so well, and they're very happy to be playing for him. Trust me. Yeah, these guys, they don't even want to give a high five to him. It's crazy. It is crazy. Blackhawks saying, logical Raptors fanatic, you think Vogel is gone this offseason? Yeah, maybe a one and done there. You know, in some ways, we know that Bradley and Kevin and Devin probably have veto power on who the coach is. So that could be dangerous. Phoenix, you want to have a coaching carousel, you go right ahead. That's fun. In some ways, I don't think that hiring Vogel was the right hire in the first place. He's just a retread. In some ways, I thought it was just like, okay, this is you're just hiring the name that's left. In some ways, maybe they're going to try and get Budenholzer. I could see that. I could see them trying to turn around and there's going to be a couple of people trying to get Mike Budenholzer now. Watch. Seriously, because he'll have 1 year off and they'll be like, yeah, Budenholzer is actually a really good coach. And who knows? He could be coaching the Suns next year all of a sudden. Yeah. Let's see. Mike's saying Blackhawk. I don't know who they got to go get. The Nets made a great decision doing it early. Yeah, well, they interviewed Budenholzer there too, but they went with Jordy. And Jordy, yeah, you know what? In some ways, they knew if they wanted Jordy, they needed to get him now and not jerk him around because of the Olympics. So that's a part of the reason why Jordy is already hired for the Nets at this point. This is really early for them to get Jordy in as the new Nets head coach, but it's really and to be kind to him and thankful for us, Team Canada stuff too. Yeah, Fiercely saying you're right, Lex. We had an NBA championship roster and added Scotty, Precious, and Gary. The positionless idea wasn't optimal. Defined roles seem to work much better for certain teams. Well, that's exactly what's going on with Denver. That's what the best teams have is role players picking up all the slack on certain things. And part of the way I used to describe it, remember, Fiercely, was there's a baby falling out of a burning building, and there's a bunch of firemen that need to catch it. And well, they're all right there and could catch the baby, but nobody caught the baby and they let it fall. And they looked at each other and said, "Well, who caught the baby? I didn't. You didn't? Well, you were closest. No, you were closer." And nobody's like caught it, and nobody gets the job done. And the baby's on the ground and not doing well. That's what I'm saying. There's so many different guys that could have done the jobs for the Raptors the last few years, but nobody stepped up and did them defined. So it's kind of like you could have been doing it because we're all the same position. We're all the same roles. We could all do it, but nobody did some of the jobs. That was the problem with positionless, is that nobody was the end all catch all to catch that job and make sure it's done because everybody could have been doing it at any given time. So yeah, there you go. Cowboy saying I would laugh so hard if Nick Nurse somehow gets fired. Yeah, he won't get fired. In fact, they really love the upgrade from Doc to Nick Nurse. This has been one of the huge success stories for the Sixers this year. So he won't get fired. I said this at the beginning of the year. At this point, it's Nick's team over Joel. And if Joel will be the next person that will leave. They will not get rid of Nurse over Joel. I've heard Sixers fans tell us this in the summer last year. They would rather part with Joel Embiid than Nick Nurse at this point. So, yeah, I could see him leaving that team before Nick, really honestly. Fiercely saying Blackhawk, not a Suns fan, but Vogel should have be given another chance. But judging by Matashiba's decision process, he may fire him. He should get rid of Beal, and Chris Paul should have been returned. Yeah, Chris Paul could help them for sure. For sure. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the Phoenix Suns. In a lot of ways, I don't care. They've got a dumpster fire no matter what their coach is because of their salary. And Mike's illuminated it earlier by saying you got three players that are going to be making 150 million just themselves. They're above the cap, just those three players. How the hell do they make 18-man roster when three of their players take up their whole entire salary cap? Seriously. It's really poor general managing. It's like the person who did that was trying to be like the old NBA that Adam Silver's trying to get rid of. And I said it at that time. It was like, what a dumb move by the Suns, getting Bradley Beal and doing this. What a dumb move. They're going to be paying for it for years to come now. Dre, good. What's up? Good to see you, Dre. Hope you'll come in and say some more comments. Blackhawk saying, logical Raptors fanatic. I think Vogel stays unless they plan to get Coach Bud. Otherwise, they will focus on the roster because they are weak on defense. Yeah, I could see them getting Bud and firing Vogel. In fact, their early exit may quicken this because there may be other teams that get put out in the playoffs after them. In some ways, them being the first team out, well, they might want to run for Bud right now because there may be another team that gets eliminated that's going to try and turn around and fire their coach and hire Coach Bud. It could even be the Bucks. Mike saying that 500 season was more than just Nick's loss of control. Siakam and OG and Fred and Precious and Gary were all hurt for stretches and things broke down. The year before, we made the playoffs with health and luck. Yeah, I know, Mike. And I know in some ways you're going to still stand up for Nick in some ways, but I scapegoated the hell out of him, and I will continue to. I mean, yeah, there were injury problems with different things like that, but that's the mettle of a good coach. I mean, I could argue right now, Eric Spoelstra is doing amazing without Jimmy Butler and a lot of the players that he normally has right now for Miami. They're stepping up, and he's getting a lot out of guys that are undrafted, and that's what I'm talking about. If Nick was a better coach, he'd get more out of his players like Eric Spoelstra does. And that's kind of where I'm saying there. I don't care who's hurt or not there. You make what you can with what you've got. And in some ways, his system was just stupid. The whole running around on defense thing was, it is good in some ways, but in some ways also absolutely horrible for our offense. We couldn't score when we're tired running out all over the place with this crazy trapping defense. So there were a couple of different issues with what Nick was doing. And I think some of it was more devious and on purpose than you want to think, Mike, to kind of stymie us from being able to be successful. Dre saying Anthony Edwards is MVP of the playoffs so far, averaging 31 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists on 55, 45, and 84% shooting, and he swept the Suns 4-0. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to argue with this. I feel like Edwards has been fantastic. Of course, he's got a great cast around him. And once again, we got to give credit to the defensive prowess of Rudy Gobert, the versatility of Cat, and the leadership of Mike Conley also. But yeah, Edwards, I won't disagree with this. If you want to say he's the MVP of the playoffs so far, I would say you're probably right. There's a lot of guys who have played at a high level so far. I mean, Siakam had amazing first couple games in his series. He's tailed off in the last game. But, there's certain players that are showing up big time. I would even say that Jamal Murray was one of those guys early on in this series with the Lakers. So, but Edwards, if you want to call him the MVP, I won't argue with you, Dre. He's been the most valuable player in a lot of ways for his team. Sure. On both ends, too. Fiercely saying, by the way, the Suns have no first-round draft picks for the next 6 seasons. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They mortgage their future for a president now that is absolutely losing. And to me, it's kind of hilarious in some ways. It's absolutely hilarious that they did that. It's just kind of dumb. It's really, really dumb. Really, really dumb. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Monique is saying, my brother called me yesterday about the Nick Nurse Philly deep down, and Nick Nurse should have stayed with us. We started laughing. Yeah. So Monique was talking about Nick Nurse and being here. I mean, in some ways, if he really needed to leave, if Rich Paul was going to be in his ear for a long time, I'd rather rip the Band-Aid off and get him the hell out of here than let him tamper or meddle with our team on the down low still. In some ways, I feel like that was what the problem was. I mean, we saw the paths going in opposite directions with Masai and Nick after the season the year before, when one talked about winning now and one talked about developing young players. Well, Masai wanted you to develop Delano, Christian, and Scotty. And you didn't do that, Nick. You were trying to go for wins to the detriment of the young players by overplaying Fred and Pascal. And, there were a lot of issues with Nick was not doing what Masai wanted him to do as the coach. And that's part of why he fired him. So, yeah, Mike's saying after the Tampa series in the bubble, then going 500 strained the relationship of the team, and things ran their timeline with Nick, the players that went through those stressing seasons. Yeah, there was a lot of stress. It was a roller coaster ride, the Nick Nurse era, championship, COVID, the bubble, Tampa. Yeah, a lot of roller coaster in that time. And in some ways, I would say Nick Nurse era of Raptors is very successful, even if there were some ugly seasons in there. It's just what it is. In some ways, he was compromised by Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey went to him and said, I want you to coach the Sixers. And Nick railroaded himself out of the city of Toronto. And that's just the pure damn truth of it. I mean, there's almost documentation that Daryl Morey secretly came to him or had a meeting with him during last season. And that's when he decided to pivot and start trying to get the hell out of Toronto. It was all very orchestrated, and it's very, very symptomatic by the fact that he went to Philadelphia. That gives it away right there that him and Morey had planned this from ahead. And it sucks. It's just what it is. Blackhawks saying fiercely, Mattis Sheba is trying to replace the roster to have imprint on the team. Chris Paul is done. Too expensive. Beal needs to be number 4 in the pecking order. KD showed that yesterday, but it was too late. Yeah. I mean, I would say this. They're screwed. They can't fill out a roster. They just lost Yuta Watanabe on cheap, going back to Japan and not playing the NBA next season. They didn't let him play in the roster for the playoffs, and they lost and got swept. And Yuta said, "You know what? You guys are dissing me, and you don't even want me to be on your playoff roster. Well, I'm going to go home." And well, there's one kind of quality, dirt cheap player that they could pay nothing to keep around that's gone. Say, I'm not even going to do this. I'm not going to hang around for this BS. I think that Chris Paul's fit is with San Antonio. And I'm very, very big on the idea of him joining Wembanyama and being the point guard for him next year. So that's what I'm hoping for Chris Paul. You think he's done? I don't know. We'll have to see how things go. Blackhawks also saying cameo. That's right. Word up. It's the code word. No matter how you say it, you will be heard. All you super DJs who think you're fly. Mike saying it seemed like we were on the right track after making the playoffs, but the injuries that season pushed things over the edge. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different stuff that happened that wasn't helpful for sure. But that's what I'm saying. Coach has got to go through all this. In some ways, Darko showed that he's the kind of coach who will go through all this and try and make the best of things no matter what. And in some ways, Nick is such a competitor. When we lose, in some ways, he doesn't deal with that well. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let's see. Mike's or Blackhawks saying Dame doesn't fit in with Miami. He doesn't defend enough. I'll agree with that. I mean, I think it's funny that the NBA blocked him from going to Miami. I mean, it really was because he was being so overt with what his demands were, and that this had to be this. Well, he kind of really shot himself in the foot last summer. I lost so much respect for Damian Lillard last summer, and you know what? I have all the reason to. And seeing what's happened this year with his first year in Milwaukee. What a failure. What a disaster this year's been for him. Mike's saying a completely different energy around the injuries this year. We will see if Darko can get his defense laid out and we get to the play-in at least, maybe depending on health. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm going to have low expectations for next year just to set the bar low. Not like recent years where I said, yeah, this team on paper is so good. We should be this. We should be that. When I do my Eastern Conference preview for next season, when we're getting closer to the season, then I will be more realistic with where I put the Raptors. I put them at the top of the Atlantic Division this year at the beginning of the year with Dennis and everybody on the team before anything happened. Well, I was very wrong, and a lot went wrong this season, and we completely overhauled our roster. So that was a part of it right there. Yeah, the one thing I will say about the injuries to Scotty and Jakob, thank God they're injuries that aren't going to hurt them in their long term in their careers. Any kind of leg injuries, joint injuries, like their elbows or their knees or their feet or ankles, that's way worse than a hand injury. A hand injury is something that will heal and never ever affect them for the rest of their career. You get hurt with another part of your body, like Joel and his ankles or his knees, that's messed up. You can continue to have those issues for a long, long time. So on the down low, this is hitting blessing for this year's injuries to Jakob and Scotty is that they're both hand injuries, and they should never bother them for the rest of their career after this. So thank God for that. That's a blessing in disguise right there, I would say. Fiercely saying, I have a feeling Dame would be much happier in Miami in terms of mindset. The sunny climate can work wonders for some. Would he have been impactful? I doubt it. And once again, he kind of like that would be the trade would be like they're getting rid of Hero because Hero would have had to go to Portland in that trade, and they wouldn't have Tyler Hero in Miami. And would they rather have Tyler Hero or Dame Lillard? That's actually a really good, honest question because Hero's near the beginning of his career and Lillard's near the end of his career. And you're kind of mortgaging some of your good youth and coming up, and Tyler Hero is trading him for Dame Lillard. So I think that Miami's very happy with the way things went and that they still have Tyler Hero and they don't have Damian Lillard playing for them right now instead. Yeah, I would say that. I don't care about him. He could be happy in Milwaukee. There's sunshine in Milwaukee also. Smooth saying the Suns are exactly who I thought they were, pretenders. Yeah, I called it out on those two teams before the playoffs even started. The Bucks and the Suns are the equivalent of each other in the other side of the conferences. And the Suns aren't even as beat up as the Bucks. They're both pretenders, and they're both in trouble to get out in the first round. And I'm right. It looks like that's the case. Yeah. Fiercely saying, agreed, Blackhawk. And also with Lex, Achiuwa has great qualities, but his GMing skills need to improve. Well, he's the owner. He's not the GM. So there's James Jones that's running that team. He's not doing a very good job. I believe he's the GM right now. James Jones, former Sun player. And he also played for Miami Heat. Barkley said Presti is his top GM, seeing how OKC has evolved. He's good, but not as Masai. Well, Presti, he just went and got a lot of young players, and he's kind of like sifting through them. Like Poku left, right? Alexi Poku. There's a lot of players he's trying to get, and he's trying to keep the right ones together. But once again, I will say this. His window's weird because the window is now. And in some ways, these guys do too well in the playoffs. They're going to get big paychecks, and they're going to price themselves out of the cap to all stay together in Oklahoma City. And that's part of the problem with having all the same age players on your team is, well, if they're all young players and they're all rookies around the same time, well, they're all going to have to get paid at the same time. You're going to have to make tough decisions, and certain people are going to have to leave. In some ways, that is what the Raptors had to do just now. is that Siakam and Anunoby, they were about to get paid this summer. And in some ways, we can't pay them all and keep Scotty and do this. Well, what the hell is the Thunder going to do in a couple years when every single one of their young players, Chet, Jalen and SGA and Lou Dort, and everybody has to be paid all at the same time? Yeah, they're going to have to say goodbye to some of them. And that core won't be able to stay completely together. Think about when they have to pay Chet, Josh Giddey, all those guys. It's going to be a nightmare because they're all around the same age and they're all going to be demanding big paychecks. And then OKC's window is really when they're all young and they're not going to be able to have them together as vets. Watch. They'll pick and choose a couple of them to keep around, and they'll keep youngsters coming up beside them that they can keep paying cheap. But some of the really good talents that they got and they cultivated, they're going to lose just because the cap won't allow them to keep everybody. So that's just how it is. In some ways, that's why you want to have different tiers of ages in your team. Kelly Olynyk getting a veteran minimum kind of or veteran salary that's not a huge amount. That's something that's important because you need his kind of veteran experience and a player at that age. And in some ways, if Kelly's not on our team in 3 or 4 years, that's not a big deal. But we do need to think about Scotty's going to be on this team. Gray's going to be on this team. RJ, Emmanuel, Oshai. You got to think about how those puzzle pieces fit with those players. And that OKC is going to have a nightmare in a couple of years from now. Watch. And that's why I would say, Sam Presti's good for getting this going right now, but can he keep this together in like the next 3 years from now? Because these guys are going to get paid. They're going to get paid. And I don't know if they can pay all of them. I don't think the rules allow it. Cowboys saying alley-oop to Smooth, just like Philly. Yeah, all right, we'll give alley-oop to Smooth. Smooth's been fantastic with the classic card. Absolutely MVP of that for sure. Where is Smooth on here? There he is. You got the Steve Nash 13, my guy. There you go. Steve Nash 13. Wayne saying, proud of Precious. Great block on Embiid's three-pointer. Lex agreed again on Precious, dribbling upstream, but it was a fail most times because he can't pass the ball. He got that opportunity from Nick. You know what? That is true. And Wayne, I think you're right. I think that the passing, once again, you guys brought up the Raptors that were the past recently that did not go forward with us this year is partly because their passing aptitude and skills is not on the level that Darko needs to have the free flow of his system that he wants to do on offense. That may be part of the reason why Chris Boucher was in the doghouse this year, guys. For some of the people that were really like free Chris Boucher, well, Chris Boucher is not known for really moving the ball around the horn quickly. He's either going to put the ball on the floor or he's going to shoot it more than pass it. In some ways, Chris is a great rebounder. He's great for a lot of different things like energy, but he's not really known for being an excellent passer. And that's something that Darko wants in all of his players. It's obvious. Let's see. It was a fail most times because he can't pass the ball. He got that opportunity with Nick. Yeah, Nick let him expand his role in certain ways, and I saw stuff that was cool. Mike saying hockey went through the same evolutionary trend. The international teams based the game on team play and overtook the original origin country that became individual star based. This is how team sports should be. I'm sorry. In some ways, that's why I hated the individualistic NBA of the past 10 years or so of LeBron, is that it's not a team sport as much, and that over importance for superstar franchise building big three kind of teams. That was never what was important. I like the team concept. I like when a team has an identity, like the Detroit Bad Boys, like the Denver Nuggets, because then there's something to them. There's a whole feeling of it, and it's a collective. Instead of like three really dominant good players that decide to come to the same team and just want to win a championship that way. I've always hated that era. And I'm glad we're trending more towards team concept, and full team depth is necessary to win this league. And that will beat all these teams like the Suns and the Lakers that just try to do it the lazy way by getting three superstars and just filling the roster out with bullshit players otherwise. Yeah, it's going to beat that every single time. And I like that trend in hockey. Well, we're going to see it in basketball too. That's right. Thumbs up to Fiercey from Blackhawk. And most saying W stream, Lex, keep at it. Always good times. Good times approaching. She's got my 10:30 cutoff. I appreciate you, Mo, for that. So I got a little bit of a half an hour to go with here. I'll finish up y'all's chat and we'll get out of here. Tuesday trivia tomorrow. Fiercey saying, David, there were a fucking B chants at the Philly arena. It was magnificent to watch, and I thought of you. You would have liked it. Yeah, they were doing it outside the arena afterwards. The Knicks fans doing it very, very loudly. Maybe some of the Sixers fans too. All right, thanks for the cutoff, fiercey and logical. And my Cowboy saying later, Lex. Enjoy the fresh air out there. Out Raptors freaks. Have a great day. Yeah, there were a couple bunnies in the yard hopping around and chewing on grass outside the window right behind me. Just a little while ago, right before I started the stream, I was watching them. Yeah, they're good, healthy bunnies out there. Bunnies hopping around and eating my grass, and that's good. I want them to eat the grass. There's moss out there that's kind of taking over the ground too, and that moss is actually in some ways more attractive to me. It's less, you don't have to cut it. Just let the moss grow over the whole yard. Let's see. Seymour saying cut off 8:30 a.m. Womp womp. This ain't for the West, I guess. Salute all Raptor freaks and free cats. Yeah, unfortunately, it's the morning show. It's a very early Raptors morning show for you guys out west. And I appreciate you being on here, Seymour City Slicker in Calgary. Yeah, it's just going to be how it is this summer. I want to get in and out because I got a lot I got to do with my move that I got to continue to accomplish. So yeah, the streams. I'm giving you 90 minutes right now. That's pretty good considering I don't want to be doing 3 hours anymore. Yeah, 2 hours is my limit. And really, if I can get down to an hour or even half hour sometimes, that would be good this summer. Because in some ways, I want to make more friendly content for different people and not take up too much time. I know you guys like the Lexathons and it being long streams, but let's keep going. Blackhawk saying Embiid was blaming the fans for the arena not being hype enough. What a doo-doo. Dodo. Play hard and give the fans something to cheer for next time. Yeah, you know what? I'm telling you, he's such he really doesn't get it. In some ways, there's things about Joel Embiid. He's just not that self-aware. It is what it is. It is what it is. A salute to Sheriff. Salute to Sheriff Seymour Pate. I'm not throwing shade, too. It's the best and most informative Raptors channel. All love and respect, Lex. Yeah, no problem, man. I get it. I know Tom's even earlier out there. When I started at 9:30, he's getting up at 6:30 because he's on the Pacific time. And there's people that have watched me in other places, like Darren in Jakarta, and he's like exactly 12 hours opposite of me, 9:30 p.m. start for my stream. So yeah, everybody who watches me from around the world at whatever time of the day, whether it's live or later on the day, I appreciate everybody who gives a view to the show, especially every day. If you're a regular watcher, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Yeah, man, I appreciate you too, Seymour. Well, in some ways, we don't have a lot to talk about right now, and that should inform how long my stream is. Yeah, Tada, you want a Tada ad? All right, we'll do that real quick, guys. For all your property needs, Tada is there for you. Tada Cleaning Services, 647-833-6844. You can go and see them online at www.tadaservices.ca. If you're an entreprenizing person, franchises are available also. Just don't encroach on Bradley's territory. That's right. James is saying Precious didn't get traded. He would be a solid starter for and a great defender. Yeah, I would have loved to have him still here, but I understand he was part of the price for this deal. And I'm very happy with RJ and Emmanuel. I wouldn't change anything about this. Knicks fans, if you think we're upset or having any remorse about that trade, we are not. We are very, very happy to have RJ come home. And Emmanuel is amazing. And we still have a draft pick in the first pick in the second round of this year that we're going to be picking too. So, you know what? We are very happy with the trade. We're glad that you guys are very happy with the trade also. And you are getting the spoils of the trade right now in front of you in the playoffs. And any success for OG and Precious is something I can get behind. Trust me. I can get behind it. Yeah. Wayne's saying, what son's gone? How great is Kevin Durant? That's what I'm saying. He needed Steph, Clay, and Draymond to win a championship. And in some ways, he's not going to get that championship otherwise. Even if he doesn't care, he says it on Twitter. I don't care. I've already done everything. I don't need to do anything to prove anything. People will always say this, that he had to go the easy route, leave Oklahoma City, and join up with the Golden State Warriors to win his championship. And he didn't win anything otherwise. And he honestly had very good situations to try and do it, with being next to people like James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and now being next to Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. It is what it is. Kevin Durant, your career is great. You're a Hall of Famer, no doubt. You're one of the greatest players to ever play in the league. But you know what? You're also who you are. That's what I'll say. Full Ass is saying, if this was our coach the last 3 years, we would be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Nurse fumbled a great team. I would be very interested to see how Darko would have done with the Raptors since Scottie was a rookie. Like if he was our coach his rookie year and had him for 3 years now, where would Scott be? I would be very curious to see what the difference might be between Scotty and where he is now. Seriously. Mike's saying the conflict was with Nick siding with Fred over OG created a fractured team. Maybe another coach fixes things, but they got deeper from the bubble and Tampa stress, so things fell apart direction wise. Yeah, part of it is Nick's not a good people person. In fact, the fact that we went such in a 180 direction with Darko, as far as he will talk to everybody all the time, anytime, 24/7. Nick was closed off. Nick didn't want to talk to people after the games. Nick was probably not very approachable for the players in the ways that Darko is now. And if there were fractures in our team because of different things, whether it's partly Nick, whether it's players, whether it's assistant coaches, well, Nick did not actively try and fix those fractures or help them. In fact, that's why I would say, Mike, that he was trying to hurt our team because he knew that these fractures were on the team, but he didn't proactively try and fix them. And he just sat back and let it be a dumpster fire. And that was his ability to escape and go to Philadelphia. So, yeah, I mean, we can look at it all kinds of different ways and understand, coach is supposed to fix these kind of things because they're the middle of it. They're the leader. And if they're not actively trying to do that and they're just persisting and everybody's kind of like, whoa, Chris Boucher called that last year, Nick, weird. Well, it could have been weird to have a coach that's seeing all this dysfunction around him and he's not doing a damn thing about it. I mean, that's what I would say about that. Trevor's saying Jaws got a new agent. Is Mike Miller? Is it the old player, Mike Miller, who used to play for the Grizzlies? Mike Miller of the University of Florida? Well, that's an interesting person for him to be his agent. Hopefully he can get him in line and keep him out of trouble, and he'll be making lots of money and playing very well in the NBA in the future. That's right. Smooth saying Yuta was traded to Memphis. Okay, so he wasn't actually on the Suns anymore. They traded him back to Memphis. Okay, I forgot that. So it wasn't that he didn't make their playoff roster. He was traded to Memphis, and Memphis did not make the playoffs. I love all the love here. Somebody's just clicking on the love button. All right, let's see. Mike's saying a bunch of people were in our Raptors' ears, and once things weren't getting better, some of them sold out. Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I knew that OG was on his way out. Just kind of some of his energy around the team. Siakam didn't want to leave, but it got right to the point, the bitter end, where he had to do something with Siakam in that kind of way. Freddie, the allure of the money, the wealth, he had to take that. And I don't blame Fred for taking $43 million a year from Houston. That was the right decision. And it's a great spot. In fact, I'm really happy that Freddie, out of everybody who's left, in some ways, him and Siakam are having him and Anunoby are having the best fit, and they're having some good things happen for them. I know the Rockets did not make the playoffs, but this year with Fred on the Rockets was a huge success. And there are a lot of redemption for Fred propagandists from the last year of him being on our team. We were right. Fred is a great player. Fred is a great defensive player. He's a great shooter. He's a great leader. He has a huge effect on winning. And everybody who stood up for Fred in last year's season, we were right. And the people that hated Fred were wrong. And that's just how it is. Kenny's saying, glad to see OG and Precious doing well. Minnesota used to be so bad, but they look great now. Yeah, it's great for that market. It's great for that team. In some ways, that's part of the reason why Glenn Taylor will not sell the team to A-Rod now. He wanted to sell this team for so long. And now they're winning, and he's about to sell it to Alex Rodriguez's group. And now he's backing out because they're actually got a chance to probably win it this year. I mean, it would be a real fumble by Glenn Taylor if he had this team for so long and then he sells it right before they win a championship this year. That would be ridiculous. Just think about that happening. Kenny, respect, original Raptor freak. Kenny's been with me since the beginning of the 3 years I've been doing this channel. Appreciate you showing up and giving us a comment today. I'm going to give you a dunk, my guy. Let's see. Where's Kenny right now? He's got the Scotty Barnes 4. There you go. You got the SB4, my guy. I love it. Seymour saying, I'm just hoping for a fully healthy season next year. Health, wealth, and stealth. There you go. I think that's correct. If we have the health, if we get the wealth on Scotty with the extension this summer, and we're going to the season as a team that everybody thinks is dead in the water, a bad team once again. The Raptors are going to be the Raptors we knew in the long time ago that were so bad. Well, we can have stealth. We always are underestimated every single year in the predictions. Last year, they were right, though. I was like, no, we're going to get 40 wins for sure. And everybody was saying 35. And, well, we were even worse, 25. And it is what it is. But this year, they're going to undershoot us again. And we may not be much higher than what they undershoot us as. but I believe they will underpredict us next year, no matter what. That's just how it is. So there will be stealth to us overcoming other teams and kind of surprising them because they may think that we're an easy pushover because of this past year. Yeah, David saying, fiercely, haha, yeah, I watched the game. That was a sick dunk by OG and nice block by Precious near the end there. Yeah, OG very active offensively yesterday and rebounding. I like seeing OG get aggressive on the rebounds. He's such a good player. Thibodeau can really give him specialty stuff, and he will go do it. That's the great thing about OG. He's a very intelligent defender, and he's so versatile that if Thibodeau gives him special assignments in the middle of the series, yeah, he can go stop Embiid on a couple of possessions as needed. Yeah, very much so. Seymour saying next season, silent killers. Let's fucking grow, Raptors. There you go, Seymour. I love that sentiment, and I'm gonna give you a dunk. Yeah, I love seeing your picture with your new New York Mets hat. That's funny. The city slicker. It's cool to see Sheriff Seymour Pape in his new New York Mets hat. I love it. Yeah. Let's see. Stargate saying Embiid will demand a trade before next season. Yeah, I think this is true. Good to see Stargate today. I think that it's already kind of been hinted at that there is some designs that New York wants him, which is kind of really funny considering New York may be the team that puts him out this year, and that he might want to turn around and join the Knicks. I don't know. There is even crazy talk that somehow, some way, he could end up on the Lakers. I could see this. I could see Joel leaving the Sixers. Like I said, Nick Nurse is more ensconced and has more power in Philly in some ways than Joel. Some people are sick of his shit, and they really do believe they may not ever win with him just because of the reasons why they won't. Because he's always going to get hurt before they get to the end of the season. Watch. And in some ways, you're not going to win with a guy that's so important like him. David saying Joel is so soft. He just looks like a victim out there. Dominant, unstoppable. Laugh out loud, please. Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I don't wish anything on anybody, but if he's not healthy, he won't play for Team USA. Maybe there'll be an injury replacement to Team USA. Because honestly, him playing in the Olympics doesn't make any sense to me. With him being so banged up in the postseason and how he's looking right now. Wayne saying Raptor Freaks. We don't have a roster yet. Don't know how we can sensibly speak on next season's outcomes. Makes sense, freaks. I'm just going off of the core that we know we do have and filling it out. We could be way better. You're right, Wayne. We could be worse. But in some ways, if I look at the core of IQ, RJ, Scotty, Jakob, Kelly, Oshai, Grady, that's a nice core. It's healthy. And adding a really good draft pick, adding a nice free agent, we could be pretty good with just that little group right there that I just named. Those are very good players. And that's why I can kind of say that. But you're right. We don't have the complete roster. We can't really fine tune a prediction for next year yet. David's saying, well, we have a roster, just not a complete one. Yeah, that's kind of what I was just saying. Doesn't seem unreasonable to assume IQ will sign, in which case we have a pretty set amount of 7 or 8 roster spots. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's kind of what I was just saying. David saying the same thing as me. David saying, I find it funny, the whole narrative around free Boucher. I'm the biggest Boucher fan, and I never once questioned why he wasn't playing. People are so quick to jump on the bandwagons playing Boucher. Would have made no sense at that point. See, David's number one Chris Boucher fan. He wears a Chris Boucher jersey when he goes to the games. And he understood this. He gets this. And that's part of the thing. I think you're right. I think that there's kind of like kitschy fads in Raptors social media spaces where people just kind of get behind something like free Jeff Doughton, like last year. Like, why isn't Jeff Doughton playing? And everybody's like, yeah, why isn't Jeff Doughton playing? And then everybody has a sense of injustice and they all throw their arms up and make a chorus of it. I think that happened with Boucher this year. And that's what it was. In some ways, it wasn't very well informed. It was just somebody who maybe was like David, who's a big Boucher fan. He was upset that his favorite player wasn't getting to play. I know some people were upset about Boucher not playing because they thought he could really help us in certain situations, especially with rebounding. I'll be honest with you. I could have seen him being helpful in rebounding. But like we said, the passing is the most important thing in Darko's system. And if you're not a natural passer or a high-level passer, in some ways you may not get minutes with him. And that's what it was right there. Gary got minutes partly because he passed more this year than ever in his years with the Raptors. Gary was moving the ball along and not just being a black hole like he was the years before, where if Gary gets the ball, he's going to dribble and try and shoot it and make his own shot, and he's not going to pass it. Well, he started passing it more this year. And that was part of how he could survive in Darko's ecosystem of the offense and play more than Chris did. Because Gary did go into his passing mode more this year than any other year he's been on the Raptors. So let's see. C4C is here. Good to see you this morning. Morning, family. Q for Lex. A question for me. Has Darko's implemented system ever been successful by another coach before? And is his system feasible in the modern NBA? That's a great question, C4C. I appreciate it. I don't know. If we think about passing systems, I mean, we could go way back and think about the triangle with Phil Jackson, Tex Winter, and the Bulls from the 90s. The triangle offense, in some ways, has some is a predecessor of Darko's passing system. If you really think about it, it really is about getting to an open guy around this. But in some ways, Darko's doing like a hub in the middle and kind of going any which way. You know what? I think that this is the thing that FIBA once again is going to be more and more like a pure basketball than the NBA. And in some ways, those team concepts will beat individual concepts. That's kind of something I said earlier. Now, Masai and Bobby, who are very learned in their positions as front office of the Raptors and understand the NBA and understand basketball and trends, said themselves that they like Darko's system because they see it as being very sustainable. So they believe in it. We'll have to see if it's true. In some ways, this may be something that's very important to come successful because of what they think. I think that they wouldn't be looking at trends in basketball and thinking about all this to fail. So I don't know for sure. We can't say for sure, C for C, but I think that it looks like it will be very successful considering the way that the international game is changing. And also the NBA is probably changing too. And if if the Nuggets are saying they're playing a FIBA style and they're winning and they're like one of the best teams in the league, the current champions, I would say it's sustainable. And it may be that we are trying to mimic the Nuggets and copycat them a bit with a great passing big man in Jokic having a great pass for sure until we see it fully realized in the next couple of years. But I mean, why would Bobby and Masai do this if they didn't think it was sustainable? And they even said that. Masai said the coach's system is sustainable for the future of the NBA going forward. And I like that. And I think it's true. I think that it's evidenced by Darko's end of season conference where he said something like, I'm going to be looking at all basketball everywhere. And I'm going to be looking for trends. I'm going to be looking for the future of basketball. I'm going to be looking for things that I see in college. I'm going to be looking for things that I see in other leagues like BLA, the Australian League. I'm going to be looking at what's happening in the Italian League. I'm going to be looking at everything. I'm going to be looking at the Olympics this summer, everything. And I'm going to be gleaning ideas from it to how maybe I could utilize it in the NBA with the Raptors. So that'll be part of it. Great question. We'll have to see over time. I can't 100% say yes, but all signs point to yes if I'm a magic 8-ball. Yeah. David saying at 11 o'clock. Thank you. Seymour saying, why can't we talk about next season? Some of you are so toxic. Like, damn. Yeah, we can talk about next season. I don't think anybody's saying that we can't talk about next season. Did anybody actually say that? If you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, just go back to bed. It's all good. It's all good, Seymour. I didn't see any of that toxic, man. I'm sorry if somebody was saying something like that. It's all good. Let's see. David saying, or stay awake. Come in here and trash Joel. Yeah, if you're crazy, out deranged, no sleep, you've been up all night, come on in. You'll probably be funny. Wayne saying we have 5 solid players, of course. From the season, we had one injury which derailed us. Can't comment fully until roster is established. Very anxious to see come September. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I trust in Bobby and Masai. Let's see the draft. There's going to be a lot of action with our team. Once again, we were a team that didn't do a whole lot of movement for many years, and now a flurry of trades this past season. It's going to be similar this offseason. There's going to be a lot of kind of stuff that the Raptors are more active on than usual, and including the draft night. I have a feeling the Raptors are going to be very active on the draft night, not only with the picks, depending on how the protected pick goes in the top 6, but also with trades possibly. I could see Bruce Brown getting traded on draft day and other stuff like that possibly happening. So the Raptors are going to be more extraordinarily active this offseason than any other offseason. I'm going to tell you right now. It's going to be very interesting. Fiercely saying half-hour stream. Good luck with that, Lex. I've done them in the past. It's usually when nobody shows up and I just have one thing to talk about, and I just say it. I said, all right, that's the end of the show. Bye, guys. Yeah, there are a couple of half-hour streams in the archive. There's not as many, that's for sure. But yeah, that's pretty funny. We'll see if I can do it. I'll be doing them in Europe. Let's just put it that way. Because when I'm over there, you may only get 10 minutes of me because I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be over in another time zone. I'll check in. I may comment on like the news of the day, but I don't think I'm going to do comments over there. And that'll make the stream very short. If I'm not reading what y'all are saying, I just come on live and do a check-in. Maybe I talk about a couple stories because I'm going to be on vacation and I'm not going to spend 2 hours talking to you guys every day that I'm actually over in Estonia. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting. That'll be in May, coming up next month. So we'll see how that goes, how those streams go. They'll definitely be very short. They could be 5 to 15 minutes, honestly. Let's see. I do need a little bit of a vacation. I want to keep the streak alive by posting something every day, but they may not be interactive live streams. And I may not do the off-season format either. It may just be Raptor Freak check-ins. And I'm not going to be doing trivia. I'm not going to be doing this. I'm not going to be doing that. Partly because I just don't have the time to do all that. I'll keep up on what's going on in the playoffs and I'll comment on that and Raptors and Team Canada news and stuff like that. But it won't be as in-depth as the normal stream. And you just got to bear with me for 2 weeks while I'm over there because I haven't gone on a vacation in so long. And you guys know I've been doing this stream for 3 years straight. So in some ways, I want to continue the streak, but I also want to have a vacation. So I got to balance it. All right, let's see. Mike saying basically we traded Lowry and OG for RJ and quickly. Seems fine and talent replacement. Yeah, I guess that's a way of looking at it because in some ways Lowry became Precious for sure. For sure. I mean, you could throw Malachi's name in there somewhere, I guess. Seymour saying Haley Van Lythe is the Kevin Durant of women's basketball. She is now transferring to TCU. Laugh out loud. That's where he went to. He went to Texas, though. He's not TCU. So she's going to Texas. Okay, that's a name I'll be watching out for in the ladies' game, in the women's game. Trevor saying Joel like a bad car. Drive one day, fix the next day. I'm actually shocked he's playing right now. He's probably way more hurt than most average players would play. Because honestly, he's playing through pain right now. He probably wouldn't be playing if it was in the playoffs. Seriously. I'm going to say that right now. Mike saying, I'm looking at the East in my prediction. The bar for playing is Nets, Hawks at the moment. So I think we could be in that tier. Yeah. Yeah. I really feel like, Scotty's hand injury really tainted or stopped our ability to get a win total very high once he was gone. And that changed things a lot. Yeah. Mo, thank you for the no more comments because it is like 8 minutes till I want to really finish up. And there are people stirring in the cottage, and I have to think about them being able to go get their coffee. David saying 11:15, we've been told. Thank you. Trevor saying, do you guys watch the English League? It's very good. Basketball? No, I don't watch very much basketball in other countries. Seymour saying, hell no, I couldn't even name a team. The London Lions, OG Anunoby's team. That's the team I could name. It's London Lions. It's not London Towers, I believe. Let's see. I'm a peep, though. London Towers, I think it's London Lions, and that's the team OG owns partly of. Because we did something on this last summer. OG became a part owner of one of the teams in the English League, and it was the Lions. Their name was the Lions, the London Lions. Let's see. Fiercely saying, well-deserved vacation, Lex. Health is wealth and time to reset. Yeah, I'm going to try and do what I can over there. And when I come back, there'll be more setup here. There's no rest. I mean, seriously, there's so much we got to do here. Go across the world and then come back and do even more here for me to get set up and comfortable here. So, yeah, this is a time of transition. And you guys aren't going to be seeing that old place that I used to be in anymore, in the walls. You may see it a couple more times, but that's it. It's going to be gone. Those old walls with the jerseys and the flag on it. We'll put up the stuff on a new wall. In fact, I'm thinking about painting my new studio green to have a green screen behind it. Yeah, Mike, think about that. I could do like a green screen show in some ways in the future because of the new setup in the studio. It's put me on a green screen. Look out. Yeah. All right, let's see. Wayne saying Trevor J, soccer? Yes, Arsenal. Now, I think he was talking about basketball, English League. Yeah, Evelyn's here. Hey, Granny Evelyn, good to see you. David's, thank you for the super chat. Oh, my gosh, David. That is insanely super chat, $100. Holy crap! Thank you, David. A very, very kind benefactor for this channel. Have a great vacation. Enjoy your time there with your family and discovering your roots. Buy yourself a nice souvenir. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. We're gonna go there and see the land that my grandmother grew up on before the war and World War II and the Nazis and everything that happened, where she had to flee that country as a refugee, go to Sweden, and then leave Sweden to come to Hamilton. And that's how my family ended up in Canada. Is we're war refugees from World War II as Estonians from the USSR and the Soviets. So we're going to go back there and we're going to see the land that she went into court and got it back from the Russians. They had taken our land and she went to court and won it back. So we're going to go over there and check out the land on the peninsula near Tallinn. So I'm very excited about that. It's going to be very cool. I've never been there in my life. And it's going to be a full circle moment because in some ways my family fled there almost 100 years ago. And now finally, I'm going to get a chance to rightfully go back and see where my family's from. Yeah, it is going to be very emotional trip, Smooth, for sure. It's going to be very, very emotional. Yeah, let's see. David's a real one. He is for real, seriously. And I'm really looking forward to hanging out with David more later on this summer, especially at Monique's birthday party, June the 8th at the NBA restaurant. David will be there. I'll be there. Monique will be there. Come on down and celebrate the superfan Monique Lawrence's birthday, June the 8th at the NBA restaurant, Queens Quay, Toronto. We will be there in the afternoon, I'm guessing. And yeah, David, I'm going to see you way more other than that also this summer for sure. Fiercey's got green equals Celtics. Barf, barf, barf. Yeah, I'm with that. Evelyn's saying, woo, David, gracias. I like that. Country Con saying, Lex, I was lurking today. Not much to discuss about the playoffs as Grady is not playing. You're awesome, Country Kong. I'm gonna give you a dunk. Shout out to David. Have a great day, Raptor Streaks. Thank you, Country Kong, for coming in here, JP, and being awesome. Once again, guys, I'm gonna set up the WNBA Fantasy League this morning. So look out in the community tab. If you're a member, you'll have access to get to it first. And otherwise, it'll be in the Facebook chat. If you're in there too, you can join for there. So yeah, where's Country Kong? We got to give him another dunk. You're at 22, my guy. You got 22 dunks. That's awesome. All right, let's see. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Rap Free Crew. Joining late. Yes, it's the London Lions. Excellent. You're going to reconnect with your roots. Yeah, it's going to be nice. My folks have been over there a couple times. Adriana's coming with me. So it's going to be a very nice trip. I'm excited about it. It's been planned for a while. We were supposed to go in 2020, but then the pandemic happened and we canceled it. We were literally going to go on this trip like 2 months after the pandemic started, and we couldn't go. So this has been put off for 4 years. And we're finally going to get to go on this trip finally now, which is awesome. David saying, I admire commitment and dedication. I admire Lex for his dedication to us in this channel. David, man, seriously, I appreciate you, man. It's in some ways I would say that's too much, but also I do really appreciate that you appreciate my hard work and showing up every single day. Mike's saying they changed the name. Damn, Nurse coached the London Towers. It may be a different league. There may be multiple different leagues over there. Could very well be that they did change the name, but there could be different leagues too. I just know that the one that OG's involved with is the Lions. Cool Cat saying, I'm nervous about OG and Pascal meeting up for the playoffs. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. You'll like it. All right, let me get out of here at 2 hours. I appreciate everybody watching me today. Tomorrow I'll have trivia set up for you guys. So come back tomorrow morning at 9:30 and play some Raptor Freak trivia with me. I don't know what the subjects be. I haven't written it yet. So I can't give you any tells on that. No birthdays for today, guys, unfortunately, but we will have a birthday tomorrow. So yeah. All right, guys, everybody, thank you for watching me today, and I'll be back tomorrow. Go Knicks. Go Pacers. Go Clippers. I'm still going for all our former Raptors on their teams to go far in the playoffs. So you go on, Pascal, Kawhi, and OG, and you get things done. Pacers versus Knicks is going to be fun. Think about it this way. Cool Cat. No matter what, you're going to have a team that you have a player on in the Eastern Conference Finals that you like if the Pacers play the Knicks. You can either root for the Pacers or the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals because one of those teams will be there if this happens. So there you go. There's the bright side of it right there, Cool Cat. All right, let's go, Raptors. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And join the channel if you feel like it, like David has. And thank you once again, David. Wow. Thank you. You are a very, very kind Raptor Freak, and we appreciate you very much. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 9:30 for Raptor Freak Trivia. Let's go, Raptors. As always, keep your head up high and be proud to be a Raptors fan Because honestly, once again, we know the future is so bright that we got to wear shades. That's right.